All right, this is a quick walkthrough of exporting a Construct2 game into Visual Studio and then uploading a package into the Windows Store. So first of all, I'm going to assume that you've already built your game. If you haven't already included the Windows 8 object, you can do that either by adding this on a layout or just in the projects bar, right-click on the objects type and say Insert New Object. And you want to make sure to include the Windows 8 platform object. And I'll just leave the name as Windows 8, hit Insert. And then if you select that object in the project bar, over here in the properties bar, you can see that there's some settings. First of all, if you're ready to upload this into the Windows Store, you want to turn test mode off. That lets you test purchases and things like that. There's also these choices for about, support, and privacy settings. If you leave those on, the Visual Studio solution that gets created will have an HTML page for each one of those choices, and you can modify the content for them, and then those menu items will show up in the settings term for your application. If you don't want those, then you can change those options to no. I'll just leave them at yes for now so I can show you the files that get produced for them. The other thing is that in the project bar, I'm going to select the game itself for the overall project. And you want to make sure that in the properties window that you've set a name, version, description, and author for that as well. Okay, so now I'm ready to export my game. I'm going to come up and hit Export Project and then choose Windows 8 as the target platform and then go to Next. And then choose a directory that the Visual Studio solution is going to be created into. I've already created this Z4Z Win8 folder, so that's where I'm going to export to, but you can browse out, choose a new folder, even make a new folder if need be. I'm going to leave all the settings at default, although at some time earlier I've turned off Minify Script. If, again, you are ready to actually upload this into the store, you may want to turn that on so that the JavaScript that's produced is smaller and makes a overall smaller project for you. I'm just going to leave it as is and hit Export. The other thing is that with later versions of Construct2, you can now choose if you're going to export to Windows 8 or to Windows 8.1. If you export to Windows 8, computers running both Windows 8 and 8.1 can run the application. If you export to 8.1, only 8.1 computers can run it. Also, for Windows 8.1, you're required to have Windows 8.1 yourself, as well as a copy of Visual Studio 2013 to do the customization of the final project with. If you choose Windows 8, you can still do it on Windows 8 with Visual Studio 2012. But I've got 8.1 and 2013, so I'm going to choose that option and hit Export. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up the destination folder. So here's the folder that contains the Visual Studio solution for me. And in fact, down here's my ziasforzombie.sln. I'm going to go ahead and just double click on that. That's my Visual Studio solution file. You'll have one that's whatever your game project name was, .sln. And I'll double click on that. It'll open up Visual Studio for me. All right, here we go. And there's a few things that we'll need to do in Visual Studio. First of all, if you're just testing locally, if you're not actually ready to upload into the store yet, you can go to the package.fx manifest, and you'll notice that the packaging tab has a big red X on it. You'll first want to make sure that the version has all 4 numbers supplied. I'm just going to put zeros in there for the build and revision number there. Also, to debug locally here, you'll need a certificate for your project, and you can just click on the Choose Certificate button. Come down to Configure Certificate, choose Create Test Certificate, and then just accept the defaults and OK out. And you'll notice that once you've done that, that red X has gone away. And you now can just debug it on the local machine, tweak the project as you need to. If you need to change the actual game logic, you'll need to go back to Construct2 and then re-export the project and then go through the process of updating the packaging tab with a proper version and publisher. But I'm good to go here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save on that. And once you're ready to actually upload into the store, there's a few other things you want to make sure to prepare in your project first. Remember those about, support, and privacy settings. Notice that we have HTML files for each one of those. And you can go in and customize the content that's in those HTML files appropriate for your game. There's also these app logo files and splash screen files that you'll want to update to appropriate versions for your game. In fact, if you open up package.fx manifest on the Visual Assets tab, I'll just come up here to Tile Images and Logos, and you'll see that we do include a square logo, but the default doesn't have a wide logo or a larger square logo. And for the square logo down here, we also don't have a small one, 7070. You'll notice that the scale 180, scale 140, scale 80, those ones weren't supplied. You can tell that because they say scale 180 and there's an X in them. Versus this one actually has a default image. It's just a transparent image with a box and an X in it, but it is an image supplied. And in fact, it's the app logo file that we see over here. If you scroll down, there's another one, the app small logo, that's a 30 by 30. Over here, scroll down again, I see App Store logo, that's 50 by 50. That's that file. The first one, by the way, I don't think I spelled it out, was 150 by 150. So this file is 150 pixels square. And then finally, down here at the very bottom, there was, oops, sorry, let's scroll back up. The splash screen, the only one that was supplied was a 620 by 300 pixel image. And that's what this file is down here. So I have created my own versions of those files. With the same names at the appropriate target sizes. You can't change the names and then just point to them from your package.apex manifest, but I kept the names the same to minimize the amount of work I had to do for customizing. But I'm going to simply right click and copy those source images. Again, you can make those images however you like. You can get them off, screenshots or off the net or however it is you want to create them, but you should create appropriate logo and splash screen images for your app. I'm going to come back over to Visual Studio, just right click and paste and let it overwrite the default images that were in there. Okay. So there's my updated art. We talked about the different HTML files that you can update if you like. And so at this point, I'm ready to actually package my game up and get it uploaded into the store. So I can then, from the project menu, come down to Store and create. Oh, wait, sorry. Actually, before that, I should capture some screenshots. So when you do this, it's going to build the project and then go run it in the simulator. And the benefit of the simulator is that it's got this handy little capture screenshot button on the side. So you can get your game character, into some interesting position here. And then while it's happening, click that button. And that's actually going to go into your pictures library on the computer there. So that's kind of cool. All right. Once you're done, I can come down here and close the game up. And even close the simulator. And those screenshots that I took went into my pictures library. Let's find that here. There we go, pictures. And there's this Windows Simulator folder that'll get created for you. And then in there, you can see the various screenshots that you've taken. And you'll use those when you upload your app into the store. So just knowing that we've got them there is good. All right, so now I can go again back up to project, down to store, and create app packages. And again, if you're actually ready to upload into the store, leave this at yes. If you're just trying to create a package that you can share with somebody else to sideload onto their own machine, choose no. But I am actually ready to upload here, so I'll choose that and say next. And I've already signed in with the Target Live ID, but if not, you'll be prompted for credentials here to sign in with the Microsoft account that's associated with your Windows Store account. And then it's going to go show me all the existing apps that I've already reserved names for up inside the store. If you have one that you want to associate this app with, then you can just pick it. If not, you can reserve a new app name here. So I'll just do BSS. Those are my initials, and Z for Z, which is short for Z as for zombie. But, come up with a reasonable app name. They don't have to be tight and cryptic like this. This is just a demo, so I'm creating a little garbage name here I can delete later. I'll hit reserve, and it's going to go make sure that name is available and reserve it for me. And now I can go on to next. You shouldn't need to change anything here. If you do, go ahead and update them. I'm just going to leave everything at the defaults and simply hit create. And so now it's creating this Apex package file for me that I can upload into the store. It'll also let you launch the Windows App Certification Kit, which is a great way to locally test your app before you upload it into the store. I recommend that you do it. I'm not going to go through the process here. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It's relatively self-evident as you go through there, and it'll give you a little handy report letting you know if anything failed. And that's a great identifier that you need to fix it first before you upload it, right? Whatever it is that it says failed. But I'm going to skip that process for now and simply hit close. And then I can go back to Project, Store, and finally upload my app packages. So now it's going to sign me into the Microsoft Store. Actually, I want to sign with a different account here. We'll demo what I have. And okay, if need be, verify. It may ask you to identify this for you. I'm going to go ahead and choose this. I just got the text coming in on my phone, so I'll go ahead and enter that in. And hopefully tell it to stop bugging me. Okay. And submit an app. And, oh, actually, we've already got the app reserved. Let's go back to Dashboard. And remember when I went through that, I created this, reserved this name called BSS Z for Z. So I want to edit that app. And you're just going to start walking through this top to bottom. We've already reserved the app name for the selling details, and I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. This is just a demo. Let's say I want to sell my game for free and just in the United States, release it immediately. And this is a game, and let's say it's a family-friendly game. So I'll pick family. Oops, sorry. Try that again. Family, and click off it. And I don't have any hardware restrictions or anything like that. I haven't done accessibility testing, so I'm not going to turn on that checkbox. And hit save. Down under services, this is where I would go sign up for, live authentication if I was going to build that into my app or anything like that. Also doing in-app offers, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do any of that, so I'll just hit save. But going into it and hitting save, notice marks it as complete. For age rating and certificates, I'm going to say that this game is probably suitable for ages 12 and older. That's probably a pretty good choice for this. I've got zombies and guys with machetes and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I'm not going to mess with anything else. I'm not worrying about certifications for other countries. I'll go ahead and hit save. For the cryptography, I didn't do any cryptographic stuff in this app, so it should be freely redistributable around the world. So I'll just say no, I haven't done any special cryptographic stuff, and I confirm that this should be distributable. Hit save. And then finally, packages. And it wants to upload the packages. Well, I'll just click this button to browse to files. And remember, the Visual Studio project was out in this folder called Z for Z, Win8. And when I did the create packages earlier, it dumped them into this app packages folder. And here's this appx upload file that I want to use. So I'll hit open, and it's going to go upload that file for me. It's only about 3 megs, so it shouldn't take too long. All right, and so I can see that that package has been successfully uploaded. I'll hit save. Notice you could also upload Windows 8 versions as well. So you could do both. You could export from Construct 2 to 2 separate projects, one for Windows 8 and another one for Windows 1. Lastly, it's all the marketing information, giving your app a good description. Spend more time on this than I am. Screenshots, and this is where you would go back to that pictures folder and find the screenshots that you want to use. I'm only going to stick one in there, but you could pull multiples in. You can have up to, looks like 9 of them there, and give it a good description. You are the zombie. Okay. Any notes here? And any other recommendations, keywords, zombie platformer game, whatever, trademark information. and any other licensing terms I don't, so I'm going to leave that as is. You can also go out and produce some promotional images, and these will be used for like your apps page in the store. They give you the dimensions here, so go create art that's appropriate for, sort of advertising your game within the store. Setting up a website, if you have that, support information, privacy policy. I'm just going to go stick all of those in there and hit save. The last step would be adding any notes to testers that are going to test this up at Microsoft in the store. And hit save. And at this point, I'm ready to actually submit my app. So I don't really want to do this because this guy isn't really ready for prime time yet, but you would then submit this for certification and it would begin the certification process. So hopefully that gives you sort of idea of what you need to do to get your Construct 2 game exported out for Windows 8.